I'll check on YouTube, make sure we're live. Yeah, StreamYard is a great tool, honestly. Testing, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, StreamYard is a great tool.
Cool. Works. Welcome everyone to another week's Bacon DAO community call. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. UTC. A little bit late, 10 minutes today, but we host this community call as part of Bacon DAO. I named it Town Hall Call this week just to make it a little bit shorter and like cleaner sounding. But yeah, every week we do a live session with the high contributors of Bacon DAO. Luke and Viperr, they do low cap layer 2s, other chains. Viperr is like super knowledgeable in BSC. We have Mahi, who has been following everything that's happening in Polkadot / Kusama. So that's crowd loans right now. A lot of opportunities there. And then myself, I'll do a bit of Q&A as well and things I'm looking at for the week. And just overall give more updates for Bacon DAO, the project, answer any questions. And yeah, so as we start to have more and more people contribute, this will also evolve into more of a live review session of the latest gem picks that were submitted by other members of the community in Bacon DAO, not just from the team as well, but like everything that's top ranked, we will recognize who picked these, how much Bacon reward they're getting, and kind of dive into things, explain them in depth. So yeah, that's it. That's a quick summary. Let's get started. I think we are good everywhere. I don't see any comments yet, but we will do Q&A after at the very end on both Discord and the stream. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments or events chat on Discord, and we will go through them. So yeah, let's get started. I think Viperr usually goes first. So Viperr, if you have any, I know we haven't been covering BSC exclusive, but anything you think is either really popular right now that people should know about, or just very big trends that you see developing over the past week.
Yeah.
So
as you guys know, I cover mainly BSC, but for BSC, it's kind of been the same old, shitcoin deployment, and it's all forks of something else. We have seen a couple newer non-fork projects like Dogex, but besides BSC, yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunities. Arbitrum has been doing great. For Arbitrum, and I'm glad that we finally we passed the proposal. So if you
it wasn't even a proposal. I knew Arbitrum was good because we've been looking at a lot of stuff there. Like
I know.
We need one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically we did do a proposal, but yeah, it was gonna happen either way. But
it's too new. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, we need Arbitrum, but nobody's gonna be against it because there's a lot of opportunities there right now.
Exactly, and Dennis knows well because we've talked about Arbitrum, and guys, Arbitrum's kind of the real deal now. You hear things like optimism, roll-ups, and this and that, but Arbitrum, I can confidently say, after being on the chain, it's like no other. It's, I know that it's kind of meant to be. It's not going to be an ETH killer, right? It's an ETH helper. But the transaction speeds are I have never in my entire life seen transaction. Literally, you'll click confirm and it's done. Like, not even a millisecond. It's so fast. I'm kind of like confused. And gas fees are okay, about $9 per transaction. It's definitely nothing like Ethereum, but it's also nothing like BSC. But very fast, not congested. Bridging to Arbitrum with the official bridge, which I'm going to release all the resources in the new Arbitrum chat. Very quick, I would say at most 10 minutes. However, just know that bridging back, unfortunately, takes about 7 to 8 days. So make sure you only bridging.
What?
Yeah, it takes 7 to 8. It makes zero sense. So I hope you don't have money that you need right now, Dennis.
What? That's crazy.
It literally takes 7 to 8 days. And so, yeah, put money that you're willing to be apart from for 7-8 days. Neon Cat was the only farm of its time when it first released, and that's been doing well. But now that other farms are being introduced, we've seen, Neon take a little dip, but there's also a lot of whales. It's reached 1 billion TVL. And so more options are coming out. An NFT marketplace is coming out. But besides my love for Arbitrum, guys, Cardano, the vaporware project that we all know and love, supposedly their mainnet's supposed to come out today. There's a Cardano.
Yeah, 12th, something like that, right? Yeah, today's 12th.
3 hours and 30 minutes on the Cardano official Cardano countdown.com. It's 3 hours, 30 minutes. So I expect selling the news. I mean, I'm not TA and I'm not giving financial advice. And even if I were giving financial advice, don't take it from me because I don't do TA. But I expect a sell the news kind of thing. And I also expect possibly a lot of letdown because Charles really hyped this thing up not to be an ETH fork, whatever. But I'm also hearing that, for example, there was talk that you can only do one transaction per block, and so they were joking around saying Uno swap.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's still going to be the case or if that's true. I'm pretty sure it's true because I saw some reputable people talk about it. But it's a rumor, I'm sure. But here's the thing. No matter what, even if I don't believe in a chain, even if I don't like the chain, there's always money to be made in the beginning, especially early on. But at the same time, be careful. There's a lot of rugs early on in any project, any chain, especially like KuCoin, for example. When they first launched, I was super early, bunch of rugs. BSC, I was super early, bunch of rugs. Phantom, it's like a rug chain. So just be careful. You're not going to see legitimate projects from day one. You're going to see a bunch of shit coins, a bunch of I mean, look, it's so easy. I taught you guys last week on my educational call how to deploy your own shit coin, literally. So anyone can do it. So just be careful, do your own, research, do your due diligence. If there's a project you're like iffy on, feel free to post in the chat with a disclaimer and, one of us will look into it and kind of give you our opinions. Of course, you're always encouraged to do your own research, but that's kind of want to emphasize in today's call is Arbitrum is popping off. The money is 1 bill TVL on a very basic farm. I mean, the money's coming along and statistics show.
Yeah, I can show that on stream here. Let me just share screen. Like we've been doing this, but this is crazy. Like this is
here. I have literally. It's Arbitrum seeing a massive growth in the past 12 hours, growing from 180K ETH to 480K ETH. That's $1.6 billion.
I think someone made like 120K deposit in one go in one transaction.
Yeah. 120K ETH, not
ETH. Yeah, it's insane.
If you guys see on Dennis's screen, this RB Neon, such a basic website. It's literally
it's just nothing here. It's just like one farm, and you deposit either Neon single pool or liquidity pool, and you farm Neon. That's it.
Exactly. And then click on the first tab, the tokenomics, and look at the TVL. I guess you have to be on the chain.
I'm not
but it's
sure
like something like over $1 billion. Like the money, there are huge whales. And of course, my suggestion always, and just my opinion, is with these farms, it's very, very, very risky to buy their native token. You're always best to farm their native token with a little risk single asset. Like for example, for Neon, I never bought their token. I just used ETH in their single asset ETH pool to farm it. So be careful, but also be on the lookout for all these projects. And I'll do my best to, post some cool, interesting projects I see. There's an NFT marketplace supposedly coming out next week. Who knows how legitimate that'll be, but and as you can see, APRs.
Look at this shit.
Oh my god! Yeah, see, literally this morning,
1.2 billion TVL.
It went up another 300 million. So, and obviously, as you guys know, the longer a farm exists, and the lower the APRs become, the more dumping and more sell pressure and more, So like that's why Neon's price has gone down. But if you want 49% daily APR, just put.
Yeah. So people are Yeah, this is what we call like pool two, right? Like it's there's the risk-free pool, which is like, okay, you can deposit ETH and then you can earn free yield, and like because your principal is in ETH, so that doesn't fluctuate much.
Correct.
But they have the second pool where, okay, you earned Neon, now you can deposit into this and really compound, and people get trapped here.
It's
like
Ponzonomics.
Yeah, it's Ponzonomics. It's very classic Ponzonomics. So
that middle one, Dennis. That middle one is what I call exit liquidity.
Jesus. Yeah.
That's right. I wait for big whales to put in there so I can start selling the token. So, but yeah,
yeah. Safest way, like things that we can like say, okay, it's a pretty decent opportunity, is to use ETH and farm it 50% APR here. Exactly. But yeah, it used to be much higher, I would believe, but like now, you can do that on ETH. So it's like, yeah.
And I want to emphasize one thing, and obviously I'm biased, but I can confidently tell you these kind of like alpha plays and early chain plays, you're really only going to see in the Bacon DAO. I guarantee you all those other influencers, and I won't name their names, but they are so late to the game. And then, so like you're in a good spot. I literally sit in my chair like 12 hours a day, like a lot of the other head contributors, and stare at the deployed contracts page. So like, yeah, so we will definitely, as always, be providing alpha, especially in the, not the daily, what's the insider reports. So keep a look on.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all I have for this week. Thank you, Dennis.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Viperr. So that's Arbitrum. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. Like for this, you can farm with ETH, but overall, Arbitrum is very decent short-term trend at the very least. It's fast. There's not that many good projects on there yet, which means, but like clearly it works really well. So look out for the plays on here. Early mover advantages are very strong with these. So that's how I would play Arbitrum hype. Not necessarily with Neon, but like just keep an eye out on projects launching on Arbitrum. Also Cardano smart contract countdown. I'll just show this really quick just for fun.
Do CardanoCountdown.com.
What the that's
I don't even know if it's the official one, but
CardanoCountdown.com. Okay, 3 hours and 23 minutes. We're gonna have Cardano smart contracts, apparently. Let's see how that goes. Right? Let's see how this goes. Yeah, so that's that. I'm not hating on it, right? Like clearly, if this works really well, again, it's another layer one play where first mover advantages are strong. Also because like aside from the Cardano core community, not a lot of people are going to be trying this out because there's a bit of friction, which is good, right? People will say online, oh look, it's so slow, or like I have to like go on Binance and buy Cardano in order to pay for gas fees. But that's the thing, like it will develop when it's early on. A lot of people are locked out and they're kind of iffy on it. That's where the opportunities are. So as long as it's decently usable and there are DEXs and like lending, borrowing, yield aggregation on there will be plays. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on this, see how it goes. And we have already set up a Cardano chat for gems in Bacon DAO. In the purple chats, we have Ada. I was the only one that posted it in here. We have the two new ones right now are Ada and Arbitrum. So following on new plays on here, right? Yeah, be sure to jump in here and if you find anything, share it. We will also share what we are looking at, and together we'll filter out the spam and try to find if there are actually any legit projects launching in the next week, 2 weeks or so. Yeah, and that's something you can't find anywhere else. Like we have Bacon DAO, like this is where I would be sharing alpha and like doing my due diligence. So yeah. Okay, so that's that. Arbitrum and Cardano, really good places to keep track of for the foreseeable short term. Thanks for that, Viperr. Let's have Mahi up next because Kusama. And leading on to that, I think Polkadot crowd loans and parachain options are going to start very soon. There actually are developments there, so I got some word. So yeah, Mahi, what's up? Let's get you on. I'll stop sharing here.
Oh, hi. So I was going to talk about top to bottom most important things happening in Kusama. So first of all, the auction that started on September 1st ended on the 8th. For the 6th parachain slot was won by Kilt Network.
Okay, let me just bring up the ranking again, just as last week on Subscan. That's the
Yep.
Okay, Subscan auction. Yep, go ahead.
It was rather unsurprising because, as we've seen, the team with the highest or the most KSM basically always wins. So with that logic, you can almost always predict who's going to win the slot. But this time it was Kilt, and the winning bid was 220,000 KSM, which is a lot. It's like 2.2% of the entire supply.
Parachain, yeah. So if you look on, so just for everyone listening, if you want to know who are leading, right? Just the best place is Subscan to find who is leading the crowd loans and also the auctions when they actually go down. Who are the current parachains that are already set? And on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So the 6th slot was Kilt. As we kind of predicted last week, because they were leading in the crowd loans, so they had the most amount of funding to be deployed, and obviously they won. Yeah.
So yeah, so after winning the auction, Kilt began onboarding the collaterals who will hold and secure the data of the Kilt blockchain and build blocks, because that's how parachains work. They also released a runtime upgrade which initialized governance and the Kilt treasury, which is leading into the next runtime, which where in that upgrade they'll add Kilt functionalities like decentralized identifiers and verifiable credentials. The timeline for that step is 2 to 3 weeks. So that's what I was talking about. That's what Kilt adds to the Polkadot ecosystem. Their main thing is this idea of decentralized identifiers. So I think a good analogy that the founder used, it's like logging into your G Suite account, except kind of into Kusama. So you have all of these resources and stuff like that, and it's a decentralized form of identity. So now I want to take a step back and talk about Kusama as a whole, and because now there's 6 auctions and the projects are pretty diverse, and we have now we have a lot of different types of things like Karura, Bifrost, kind of DeFi, Shidden and Moonriver smart contracts, and Kilt is like a privacy, decentralized identity type thing. So Kusama established Kusama parachain slot auctions to create a community of chains to exponentially increase utility, and the auction is a market efficient method of selecting the best parachains to be onboarded to the Kusama network. Following the massive success of the first parachain auction, which was won by Polkadot's DeFi hub Akala, Kusama has launched a series of other parachain auctions and their timelines. Meanwhile, the Kusama DeFi ecosystem has recently received a boost by interoperability solution WAN chain through a partnership with Polkadot-based Moonbeam to deploy its non-custodial infrastructure on Moonriver. So that was a big development this week. We saw Moonriver, the mover token, pumping unrelentlessly, and this was due to the partnership with WAN chain, and like I said, they're deploying non-custodial cross-chain infrastructure on Moonriver to kind of bring more utility to the Moonriver smart contracts on Kusama. So that was good to see, and it benefited Moonriver and the ecosystem.
Bridging is super important. Not so much for Polkadot alone, but like for Moonriver, right? Because it's EVM, like it needs to fit into the whole theme of the layer ones, like AVAX, Phantom, like Near, all these other EVM chains. You'll have the bridges. So like if Moonriver and Moonbeam overall really wants to be interoperable, so you can go from ERC20 directly to Moonriver's ERC20, and then just kind of deploy even like Aave Sushi on there, then bridge is super important. So is one chain able to handle all of that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But they don't have like a released working project, I guess you could say, like a working kind of a bridge. But I think their infrastructure is, when they say non-custodial infrastructure, it's bridges and some other smart contract functionalities. But we'll see. This was just the announcement of their partnership. But either way, this is good for the Moonriver token and the Kusama ecosystem, which has been pumping too.
Yeah.
So also there's an ongoing auction with about 2.5 days left. Using previous logic, it's very likely that Calamari Network will win the 7th slot. I've been talking about Calamari for a long time as the first crowd loan I talked about in the second batch, but I'll just go over a quick primer because that was a while ago. Calamari is the first privacy preserving DeFi stack powered by ZK Snarks on Kusama. The project, which is Manta Network's Canary Network, will receive features before Manta Network. It combines Kusama and ZK Snarks to bring on-chain privacy to transactions and swaps. Its suite of features include Mary Pay, its token agnostic payment service, and Mary Swap, its private AMM DEX. And the crowd loan is concluded, as you can see there, but it was alerted in PokeGem's channel a long time ago, and anyone that participated will receive the KMA token,
right.
And I like
10,000 KMA for one KSM contributor. Right.
I reviewed the I can post that. I did like a full kind of a review of Calamari Network and the tokenomics, and I liked it. So this is the crowd loan I gave the most KSM to, is Calamari.
Very cool.
And as for new crowd loans, not really. Like new KSM crowd loans, haven't heard a lot. I think Sakura is gonna have another shot at it, which is the Clover, and they actually do have working bridges, unlike a lot of other things.
Sakura, right? Okay.
They have working bridges on the Clover Finance testnet. So I think they'll have another shot at it. And I'll alert if that seems like a good opportunity. But besides that, that's all.
Very cool. Like, so Clover did their token sale on CoinList or something, right?
That's
interesting. They must be pretty well funded. I wonder why they don't have as much KSM there.
They didn't I don't think they really made a run at it. Like I don't even think they have a crowdloan website. I think all of that KSM was like through the Polkadot.js thing. So they're not like seriously going for the 7th slot, but maybe you'll see them go for the 10th slot or something. So yeah.
Cross-chain DeFi and Kusama, Sakura, right. I think, I mean, I don't like, yeah, okay, so EVM compatibility, it's like very, typical good things to be in, like a interoperable EVM with like advanced features built on Kusama. But main thing for them is like they were on CoinList. So CoinList is very exclusive. So
certainly legit.
Quite a bit of no, okay. Some weird list of partners here. Very, very diverse. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, definitely keep an eye out. I mean, all the current crowd loans, like the ones that are going for it already, like that they're quite decently legit. Like the ones we talked about. Next one is Basilisk. They're the most well-funded one right now.
Actually, I think Calamari is.
Is it? Wait, no. I mean, oh yeah, no. Assuming Calamari wins, right? This is the seventh slot. Calamari hasn't won yet. Yeah. So Calamari, Basilisk, Altair, right?
And those are the three that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably most likely that it goes 7, 8, 9 for those, and then if I had to make a hot take right now, I think Genshiro is gonna have another campaign, and they're gonna make it really lucrative because I can tell they really want a slot. They've been going for one for a long time. Like they went from 1 to 5, and Sakura's also gonna go for it, and that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So definitely, if you're overall bullish on KSM for the rest of September, like we are, because of the crowd loans, you might as well, actually participate in the crowd loans and get, project tokens, which can net you anywhere like 30% or above, like of your each dollar contributed in KSM, right? You can kind of expect around 30 cents of back of the project tokens back once they're listed. That's kind of metric I've been going by.
And some examples is a lot more. Like I think Moon River is probably.
Oh yeah, Moon River went nuts. Like Moon River listed at like $75. Right now it's like $450. It's crazy. And even that's like way above the expectations people had, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Moon River overall is an ecosystem to even keep an eye on because it really fits into the narrative of interoperable EVMs, and they were one of the first to do this on Polkadot Kusama overall ecosystem by Moonbeam, right? So
yeah, I think this interest for EVM compatible Kusama parachains is good, and I also think it's priced into Moon River now. With that said, I think like the Shiden token SDN is also pretty attractive because they do the same thing, EVM compatible smart contracts, and they have just as good of a team as many partners, except they haven't launched smart contracts yet. So and they're going to. It's not like a Cardano where it's you just have to keep waiting. This is like actually going to happen.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Shiden's coming out soon, and I can assure you of that.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the coverage there, Mahi. Really appreciate it. Keep an eye out, everyone, still for Kusama. A lot more to come for the month of September. And I've been hearing that Polkadot parachain auctions are going to start very soon as well. Those will be hot as well. Yeah.
Very. That's gonna blow everything up.
Yeah, that's gonna. Because imagine like KSM, like crowd loans and the effects, right? There will be a certain kind of reflexivity where people look at the ones, what these crowd loans did for the KSM's price, and they will try to, out front run that for DOT tokens, and as well as these projects that were leading on KSM, they will also likely be leaders in DOT. And like imagine Moonbeam, right? Like if listing at 75 for Moon River, listing at 75 all the way up to 450, that kind of movement will be much faster priced in on the DOT side, on the actual Moonbeam network. So it'll go kind of crazy. But good thing to keep to know, and very simple exposure, right? To if it's all too complicated for you, like DOT and KSM tokens are there. And crowd loans, right? Doesn't matter, like you don't need to actually buy the tokens after they list. You can get them early through the crowd loans. And also on top of that, the ecosystem, once all this hype is done through crowd loans, there'll be actual dApps, right? And that's why this is just getting started. And really excited to see how how the DOT ecosystem will continue to shape out. I think it'll be very big. It already is, but application-wise, it's finally starting to pick up. Okay, thanks for the detailed coverage, Mahi. Really appreciate it. As always, like I profit a lot from this. Cool. So next up, let's have Luke on. I know we've had you here for 40 minutes now. So let's
no problem.
let's just have you go through what you think are your top picks. I know we've talked a lot with Viperr on Arbitrum and Cardano, so like there will be repetitions of those, but let's just hear your perspectives and what else are you looking at for this week?
Yeah, so I guess I'll clear up a little bit of confusion around Arbitrum that I've been seeing in the chats a little bit, just to address that. And there is another opportunity there as well. So Arbitrum is the one that's currently popping off right now. It's a optimistic rollup, which is a true L2 compared to a lot of other L2s. It's a quote unquote narrow definition of an L2 compared to other L2s such as Matic, which use a sidechain. And the benefits of using Arbitrum and these optimistic rollups, another one would be optimism. That it preserves the security of Ethereum, and that's ultimately what we're looking for. What a lot of top, people are looking for, such as like Vitalik Buterin,
Right.
and whatnot. Sorry, I'm kind of. Anyways, there's another optimistic rollup, and that is our optimism. And optimism also has a mainnet that is live right now, and I'm speculating that we're going to see kind of the same kind of ramp up in the coming days and the coming weeks on optimism. On Token Terminal, they're one of the top tokens, or one of the top protocols that are earning revenue right now. They had one of the top revenue increases over the last 7 days. So I'm going to anticipate that there's going to be a little bit of a layer 2 wars between optimism and Arbitrum. But regardless, they're both optimistic rollups, and they're both the same thing. They're just different teams behind them and different backers and different ecosystems. So something else to look out for there. And then, yes, if you have any more questions, I can fill you in the layer 2 chats. But
Awesome.
I'm going to be looking a lot at optimism in the coming days and the coming weeks, because I think we might see a lot of TVL growth, just like on Arbitrum.
Yeah. And just to one point that you brought up there is the key difference between that's on optimistic rollup layer 2s like Optimism and Arbitrum versus other chain layer 2 scaling like AVAX, Phantom, BSC, whatever, is Optimism and Arbitrum, they share the security of Ethereum, right? That's
yes.
So underlying, right, the kind of assets are protected by the Ethereum blockchain. So the proof of work there, how much is being staked, and how expensive it is to perform a 51% attack on the Ethereum chain, and also because it's not using delegated proof of stake just yet for the security. There's no way you can take, like compared to BSC, for example, right? If you are Binance, you can probably take down the network, but they're not going to, because that's their own network. On Ethereum, that's not possible, even if you're Vitalik. So that's what we mean by sharing the security of Ethereum, is the underlying layer of the blockchain security. So that's kind of one key difference. But usability wise, it doesn't really make a big difference from what you kind of see and feel, right? You still need a bridge. You still need to change your network settings in MetaMask. It is cheaper and faster, just like all the other implementations. But the other ones are individual chains, right? So this is why like the core Ethereum community that are diehards, they really like the optimistic rollup way to scale, right? Because it's not a separate chain. Technically speaking, you're not changing the core infrastructure of Ethereum. Yeah, so that's something where you might see, so far we've seen SushiSwap and Aave really embracing a lot of the other chains, but you don't see Uniswap anywhere, right? And a lot of like synthetics, for example, also not. So Uniswap and synthetics, I know specifically, are kind of pledged to support OVM or optimistic rollup. I think they like Optimism a little bit more, but again, Arbitrum is the same kind of tech, just different teams. So you'll see like kind of really diehard community Ethereum projects that wouldn't move to other chains or even bridge start to embrace Arbitrum and Optimism. Still trying to find the opportunities there because they're existing projects, but yeah, that's one core difference. Yeah, is that
yeah, no, that was the little bit that I caught was very accurate.
Okay,
well stated, better stated than I. So, and if you want to see more on these Arbitrum projects, I dropped a thread on pretty much everything that's going on in the ecosystem, and besides the top dexes, which are Sushi and I think Uniswap are on Arbitrum, there's nothing but shit coins and a couple other handful of protocols. So yeah, kind of just kind of like what Viperr said. It's just kind of the early days, and there's going to be a lot of shit coins. So watch out and do your due diligence. But there's a lot of opportunity in these new coins in these new ecosystems, I think. So a little bit of risk or reward and that you have to consider.
Yeah.
Another, we've also seen Avalanche popping off this week, finally, or this last couple days. It broke out of its cup and handle position, or its bull flag, and and now it's reached all-time highs. And I think on my chart, it looks like it's taken a nice little bounce off of
all-time high, right?
Off all-time highs, and it hasn't bounced with much conviction, but I'm hoping that the trend continues as the $550 million in incentives rolls out. So hopefully we see a trend continuation there.
Yeah, so this is kind of part of the place we've had in insider reports. Yeah, like $40 range, right? Between 40 to 55, this is, in my opinion, an accumulation. So it's finally starting to pop off. Yeah, so typically first retest of all-time high is like really good. So let me just remove these arrows because those were previous setups. Now it's playing out already. Yeah, I would say like something like on a weekly scale, if we get a retest to 55, I'd be probably loading up a bit more. But aside from that, like fundamentally speaking, the AVAX chain, right? Avalanche, Rush, right? That's what they call it. Yeah, $180 million DeFi incentive. So this was the first kickoff of them announcing this, right? But when they announced this, AVAX price was still $20 to $30, I think. I think 20 something. So first off, this has already gone up a lot. $18, okay. Yeah, so this has already gone up a lot right now that AVAX is $60. That 10 million AVAX tokens is now worth 600 million in DeFi incentives. So that was the first kind of hype was news driven, right? But now actually the incentives are starting to go out to the the dexes like Pangolin and Joel. I'm sure more recipients will start to just within the DeFi apps, where you can deposit liquidity or start lending and borrowing, and you'll earn these AVAX that are just supplied from the Avalanche Foundation. So so now the incentives are actually starting, and we're seeing a second wave of AVAX starting to pump. And yeah, like the same place still, like I've talked about this very publicly, just like my picks, right? Like through researching the AVAX ecosystem, like Joel is definitely top pick. Yodiak, those would be my two topics. Just because they're very dedicated to Avalanche. They were there like very early on, and they built around the infrastructure of that ecosystem, and they're doing something different. Obviously, Pangolin is another DEX that's very hot, has a lot of liquidity and TVL, but they're kind of copy paste, right? Whereas Joel is a little bit different. So yeah, but aside from that, like if you just go on CoinGecko and you look up all of the Avalanche ecosystem coins, right? As long as the AVAX niche is still there, even if you want higher exposure in AVAX, if that's just your goal, like let's say AVAX token itself goes up 2x, I would expect the top coins like Joe and Yoyak to do like a 3x or something like that, right? So you can even treat it as, okay, the blue chips in this ecosystem will outperform the ecosystem coin itself. So yeah, that's how I would play it. If you don't have specific picks that interest you. But yeah, overall, like AVAX ecosystem is coming back, so and finally starting. So looking forward.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is like we've seen this run up, and you might have been fooled a little bit, but now everything is starting. So that run up was just kind of a buy the news event, and now we have the incentives actually rolling out. So more to come, definitely.
For sure.
And then Phantom has similar.
Let's see.
I don't know where they're at, but I think they are rolling out their grants. These grants are different. They're going to devs instead of it just being rolled out. Devs can decide what to do with the funds instead of going directly to incentives. And then this should foster the ecosystem in a different way than Avalanche. And we might see like better, more quality protocols maybe be launched on FTM so they can get the funding and get these incentives. But these are definitely the two coins and ecosystems to be watching out for over the next coming days and weeks, or FTM and Avalanche, as well as KSM and DOT, in my opinion. But just with these two incentives, I think these ecosystem plays are going to be relatively easy. I think we've talked about this a couple times. Like there's Boo, I think is one of the main dexes ticker, and then there's Spirit Swap.
Yeah, the way to play this, right? Obviously, you can have the FTM token or AVAX token, but you want to find the ecosystem kind of chart like this. But you need to look into the specific ones and figure out, okay, is it a big protocol that's just supporting Phantom, or is it someone that's building specifically on Phantom? And in this case, like, yeah, we covered a few, like Spirit Swap. I haven't heard of Ghost Swap, but Spooky Swap and Spirit Swap are the two leading dexes. Grim Finance is a yield aggregator. I've heard of 11 Finance. I don't know what they do yet. There's a Tomb, and then Taro. It's not on this chart, but it's on the other chart, actually. This one, I think. Yeah, you need to actually do a bit of research, and this one has it. But this is kind of what we do in the Phantom chat in Bacon DAO. Is like, okay, so we kind of, once a ecosystem pops up, right, we start our chat, and we try to figure out, okay, what are the players that are supporting it versus building it on it, right? And we want ones that are building on it. So here we have Grim, Taro, Spirit Swap, Tomb Finance, Scream Finance, ZooCoin. I haven't heard of Reaper Farm. Spooky Swap is another one. Yeah, so these are the ones that I know that are Phantom specific. And yeah, and then like we kind of talk within ourselves. Okay, which one's doing what? Which ones are copy paste? What are we looking at valuation wise? Yeah, but if you're part of Breaking Down, just come into the FTM chat, and that's what we do. But if you are doing independent research, this is kind of the process we go through.
Yeah, and we expect a lot out of FTM and AVAX, definitely.
For sure, like because their incentives are huge. If you compare to Polygon, right? Like Polygon had like 100 million.
Yeah,
that lasted them a long time. So
I think going back to Arbitrum, I think Arbitrum has $120 million in incentives also.
What? With what?
This is something that I read once, but I'm really sure that they have their own incentives or like liquidity mining incentives.
How do they do that? Because they don't have a token. Do they just reward ETH?
Bootstrapping liquidity. Like you have to incentivize to bootstrap.
Liquidity.
I only read it one time, and I haven't found much else on it, so I might just be spewing BS here, but I'm really sure I saw that once.
Maybe it's part of Aave and Sushi and all the probably projects.
You know what?
Themselves.
I think it is. I think, yeah, now that you say it, I think it is.
I see a bit of comments here. How do you plan to... Okay. I bridge and use Uniswap. This is 10 days ago. Okay. So there's a lack of liquidity. How do you plan to bootstrap liquidity on the Arbitrum network? And this is Arbitrum, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is the official Q&A from Off-Chain Labs, or the developers of Arbitrum. So someone asked, like, how do you bootstrap liquidity? The team says there is no token. I'm sure you have seen a hashtag a lot. We'll be working over time with teams on ways to bootstrap liquidity and to help projects with their initiatives. Right now, it's focusing on stability. Okay, so judging from this, like, we'll be working over time with teams on ways to bootstrap liquidity. So basically, what I'm getting at is, okay, it's Arbitrum doesn't have its own coin. So instead of using like RB or like Phantom AVAX token, they would say, okay, let's say Uniswap and Synthetics are heavily supporting Arbitrum or Optimism. When they move over, it is a separate chain, so they need liquidity to migrate over. So then the projects themselves, the large projects, will have to say, okay, if you are providing liquidity on Optimism Uniswap instead of mainnet Ethereum Uniswap, you get uni tokens, or same thing for Synthetics. If you trade on Synthetics exchange on Optimism, then you get more SNX than mainnet Ethereum. It really depends on project, and I'm sure that's what they're doing. So yeah, whoever is moving to Arbitrum, I think that's Sushi and Aave, right? Those are the ones that are supporting Arbitrum.
I mean, I think a lot of the big blue chips are, but yeah, like those are the ones who are really
yeah. So maybe like, if you are to boost the liquidity of Sushi TVL on Arbitrum, you would get like more Sushi token rewards, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something.
Interesting how that would play out.
Yeah,
maybe
so
they just even
like
if Off-Chain Labs, maybe themselves, they want to help, then maybe they buy Sushi or something, and they just say, okay, we'll support you, and then like you can distribute the tokens, and we will help with the Sushi team with funding a little bit, something like that, because they don't have a token. But the marketing around that is going to be very interesting. Like they need a big number, right? Because that clearly that when projects announce, okay, we have a huge $200 million incentive, ecosystem pumps, right? So curious to see how Arbitrum and Optimism can market around that.
Yeah, I think there's some rumors around. If I can pull it up. I've kind of been hanging out in the optimism chats a little bit here recently.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be bullish on this L2 and the growth of the ecosystems, but there's like no tokens to buy. It's just kind of just being in the ecosystems. Yeah. So I think Optimism is going to be dropping some announcements next week, and they're trying to drive up some hype. So they might have some big news too. Like they do have a pretty close partnership with Uniswap. So we might see Uniswap throw a little bit of their treasury for liquidity mining, but yeah, I really do think that it's going to be a layer 2 wars for bootstrapping liquidity. But I think ultimately there's not going to be a winner. It's just going to be both of these chains alleviate ETH to a point where Ethereum becomes usable on these 3 chains and ecosystems.
Ethereum is
anyways,
so tough right now. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
It's exciting
a lot of other
times.
chains
There's so much. There's so many chains right now. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's so many ecosystems. I've been looking a lot at Near, as you know. We don't have to go into that now, though. But Near is really interesting. There's not a lot being built on it, but there's a lot of daily new users coming on. And it's kind of a really interesting ecosystem. So yeah, I'm kind of expecting a lot out of Near too. But anyways, some smaller low cap plays that I've been looking at, or not looking at, but just an update on. So Spell, for those that don't know, Spell is a lending protocol that I've covered a couple times. Interest-bearing borrowing and lending protocol. And Spell is a cross-chain protocol, and it's on Avalanche and it's on Spell. And it's on Phantom. So I'm being a Spell backer, I'm hoping that they can kind of siphon some liquidity rewards from either of these chains. And then there's also speculation that the Spell team is also going to be moving to Arbitrum here soon too. This is because they were so
Daniel,
quick to deploy on AVAX.
Right? He said that. He said that yesterday, I think.
Oh, he did?
I think so. If you check his Twitter, right? Daniel Siesta, right? The main guy at Abracadabra.
Yeah.
He said I forgot what he said, but it's like pretty clear. Like they're doing it on to support Arbitrum too.
Yeah. And they're just kind of one of the quickest moving teams. So I'm kind of hoping if they get onto the ecosystem first, I think they'll be the first lending protocol in the ecosystem.
Yeah, he said we want MIM to be the first stablecoin on Arbitrum. That's what he said.
Yes, and then they want to branch out their stablecoin to all these ecosystems, and then they want to be the main cross-chain decentralized algo stablecoin. From my understanding.
That's that's cool to put it. I actually just finished a podcast by Yunt Capital with Daniel, and he said like the cross-chain part is very part of like why they built MIM and even Abracadabra and Spell and everything is like it was stablecoin first. It was MIM stablecoin, and it was non-opinionated MakerDAO because like you can bridge to everywhere. You can have collaterals from all these chains, and you have like cross-chain collateral, and they're doing that. So it's just by not being very opinionated, it has been fast. Like MIM moving over. Typically it just has to be USDT or whatever, and then the foundation itself will have to, or the bridge provider will have to take on that risk of like centralizing a centralized coin, and then issue like USDT bridge to all these chains, but if there's none supported, then MakerDAO certainly not going to do it. So DAI is not going to be there. So there's what's the algo stablecoin? Like it's nobody's doing it, purely. So MIM is
and even DAI is 60% backed too. It's like 55% cash, and then like 4% Bitcoin or something.
Yeah, that was another thing he said in the podcast. Was it's a bit off topic already, but it's good to know if you're super nitty gritty. Like DAI is very heavily backed by USDC, right? So that was not necessarily a bad thing because it gives like a bit of, it's more centralized stablecoin, about half centralized. But the decision was made mostly from just MakerDAO. So when they made MIM, they said, okay, like, we want it to be very, at least decentralized governance. So if you want MIM to be mostly backed by USDC, I'm sure they put through a proposal and they can do it. But they just want that process to be, okay, which chain do we support? We're not going to be opinionated. And on that chain, what's the backer? Like, not opinionated either. If you want it to be BSC backed by BNB, let's do it. If you want it to be on Arbitrum backed by ETH, let's do it. So that has really, that culture has really made them move very fast to new chains. So that's a good not even type of project to spot, but a what do you call it? A way of thinking for the project's direction that is a trend itself. I don't know if you follow, but if you look at Spell MIM, if you look at Sushi versus Uni, and if you look at like Aave versus others, they move super fast to all these chains, and all the bridges. And not so clear for Sushi and Aave because they're already so big, but Spell clearly, like, they're everywhere, and they're like, okay, whatever new chain we're on. Design philosophy, right? That's the very open governance philosophy is starting to be beneficial to them. So I don't know if that's useful to anyone, but to me, it makes a lot of sense. Like, there isn't that many projects at this caliber that's so open-minded for the kind of protocols and networks they support and the collateral they support. I think that's just cases. That's one of the cases.
It's kind of another way to reiterate what I was sort of highlighting. But I think Spell is kind of an interesting play that I've kind of continued to grow bullish on. I've only kind of continued to buy more, for those that are wondering, especially on this last pullback.
Maybe it's like, maybe Abracadabra is the MakerDAO of cross chains. Could be. MIM is the DAI cross chains. It certainly is shaping out to be that way. Not total value locked, but number of protocols and places supported, at least network wise, right? It's growing. Whereas DAI is just, okay, we're everywhere on ETH, but nowhere else.
Well, I think it's one of the only places where you can use your interest-bearing Yearn tokens. What are they called?
Yearn tokens.
Vault tokens. That's one of the only places where you can use them as collateral to take out a loan. I think if it's not the only place. There are other protocols that let users take out interest-bearing loans against their tokens, or take out loans against their interest-bearing tokens. But Spell is the only one with in the Yearn ecosystem. So I think seeing this TVL grow, especially as we see kind of Yearn grow with ETH, I think we can expect Spell's TVL to grow with Yearn, is essentially what I'm saying. Yeah.
I see. Okay, anyways, I won't take more of your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, okay.
And that's
Sounds
pretty
good.
much it for me. We can start wrapping up this call.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for the coverage, Luke. I'll take questions
Yeah,
by
no
myself if you. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we'll chat later. Okay. So let me bring up some questions. Let's go through Discord first. Events chat. We actually talked a lot. Actually, that gave me some thoughts myself for what Spell could be. Like very interesting. Very interesting. Tomb Finance is dead. They had a postmortem. Oh shit. Okay, I didn't know about that. So don't get into Tomb. They are what we said they are. It's like they're building on Phantom exclusive, but okay, I haven't been following. So yeah, they're dead. Okay, let me share screen here of the whole screen. Share screen, entire screen here. What do you think of one when he says, yeah, so Harmony also has a 300 million ecosystem fund, ecosystem incentive that was just rolled out like 3-4 days ago. I looked into it. There are some base layer like DEXs and stuff, but I don't know, like they're kind of late to this train. Yeah, as the whole kind of layer one incentivized protocol niche start to play out, yeah, Harmony probably won't lag behind too much, but not particularly like super interesting. If I were to pick, because there's so many choices already, I would definitely pick AVAX and Phantom and maybe Near on top of that. So yeah, I've got enough exposure in this whole like category of plays. Yeah, so that's what I think. Okay, and then I'm at a baseball game. Luke says that's crazy. Did you get the GB airdrop? I haven't checked. I most likely got it because I bridged pretty early on to AVAX. Are you selling Canary Birds? I'm not. They are tradable now, but I haven't been selling it. Can you talk about Dog? Yeah, I think Dog is very, very undervalued right now. Take it what you will, right? Like fundamental analysis is not. I don't know why I haven't blocked, but it must have. Here, I don't even remember, so I'll unblock you. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember at all. I block people that like tag me a lot on the server just for no reason. Yeah, but here. Yeah, I think Dog is super undervalued. It's actually below the price that it launched at on SushiSwap Miso now. So yeah. How's our Poet page doing? It's doing well. Mint price was 32 cents. Now it's at like 46 something. OpenSea, Lost Poets. So another week or so and the reveal will happen. And when the reveal happens is really when we see like the actual price discovery start to take off. So yeah, still holding on, you know, it's like, you got to be patient. Like the initial plan is the 2.5 week reveal period is going to be the holding period. We're still within that. So, and we are in profit already quite a bit. So, what else? Do you know much about Ubix? Nope. Might buy another page. Yeah. I think pages are a good bet. Damn, I fought a dog because they were doing nothing. It is, it's a fractionalized NFT. What do you expect them to do? There's no product, but you are owning part of, in my opinion, the most valuable NFT in the world, right? So take it or leave it, right? Like, it's one thing if they are like stealing the NFT, but they're not. Like they're doing exactly what they said they would. So I don't know what there is to fight. It's not like, why would they build some sort of text or ecosystem around it? Maybe ecosystem, but marketing is there. I don't know why you would say it's not there. what's I don't know what's expected, like for BitBoy to pump it. I don't know if that's what you want. So, because if that's the case, BitBoy will need to own a lot of the supply. So yeah, yeah, it's just plain and simple, right? It's not saying like there isn't place like that to be made, but that's not the reason why, you know, wasn't the fundamentals behind it. I mean, like, nothing to hate on BitBoy, right? It's like, but it's another, if you can get into whatever he's involved with, right, you know, he's going to make videos about it, you know, the projects will go up, right? So it's just, yeah, let's not discuss that. It's not there are different types of plays, but Dog wasn't that type of play, right? So I think it's super undervalued right now. So let's get comments again. So, hello, if I missed AVAX, what should I do? You haven't missed it. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Bacon doll $2. Nice. Let's do it. Should Ethereum London have fork and ERP 1559 massively decrease gas fees? No. Ethereum 2.0 rolls out in phases. The actual gas savings comes with sharding, and that is still a year and a half away. So no. EIP 1559 changes the tokenomics so that there's a burning of Ethereum as part of every transaction, but it doesn't solve any scalability issues. So you should do a little bit more research there. That's not the case. Speaking down rock, no, we're alive and well. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, Talcoin is in no way dead. I haven't looked into it, so I can't. I don't know. Just saw current topic. Maybe pick it up next time. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Hex being third biggest crypto on nomics? Their total supply is a little bit inflated because most of that is owned by the team, but nothing wrong with that. Like they do what they do, and they do it really well, which is like marketing the retail. And I've covered this pretty much like every time. So not to hate on it. It's a different type of project. You can't really think too wrongly about it because like it's one thing if they were super deceptive about it and say, okay, like we don't own all the supply and like we're just so high up on the market cap, and if they're actually selling the tokens and dumping on the public, that's one thing. But they don't sell. So yeah, you can't hate on that. AVAX ecosystem we covered already. Great stuff. Thanks. Any opinion on matrix swap for futures? I don't know what that is. I believe the market will continue for the rest of the month. Bullish on altcoins. Hex exposes the silliness of what we call biggest, and biggest doesn't include number of users. Silly Hex and awesome automated smart contract grid price chart, bigger relative. Yeah, I mean, it's very simple to understand for Hex, right? So it is what it is. Like it's not you can't hate on price going up, right? What does that tell you? It tells you that yes, Richard Hart and the team, they own a lot of the supply, but typically with this kind of design, like the projects themselves, actually, let me show these. The founders and the team themselves, if they dump on it, the price wouldn't go up. So that's the result of usually the team owning a lot of supply. But it's been like almost 2 years now for Hex, where they have proven that that's not the case. So yeah, like you can't really hate on that anymore. Initially, yeah, there were high risk, but now, yeah, like they didn't rug. In fact, they use that to their advantage to market and say we are super large, right? So kudos to them. People that use Arbitrum might get an airdrop one day if they launch a token. What do you think? Yeah, possibility. So definitely try it out for like just even that purpose. Can you analyze Solana? Solana's like way too high now. Like it's pumped to like $200. I don't know what they're to analyze. It's like 4 times as high as like last month's price and the all-time high. So I don't know what to analyze. It's a good ecosystem. It's hyped. So can it continue going up? Yes. What's the ROI on that? Not so good anymore, because if it drops back down to previous all-time high, like a lot of projects do, you should be able to swallow that, right? So nothing wrong with being a Solana fan right now, right? They're clearly doing something right, but when you're investing, like at some point you gotta consider, okay, like what's the upside left versus what's the potential downside, right? So for that, if I were to pick, I would bet on AVAX now versus Solana. Not because, okay, Solana is worse, but because it's gone up so much already. I had the balls to buy the last AVAX dip, but panic and sold right before 50% gain. What are the potential entries? So if you already had answer, just tuning in. Check out the insider report, right? First retest of all-time high. Another good entry. So right around $55 if we get there. Thoughts on Talcoin and recent developments? I don't know the project. I haven't followed it. I don't even know what they do, so I can't give you that. Apparently, like, and you talked about this like 6 times now, so you're clearly like kind of a huge fan, either a huge fan or a shill. So like, sorry, I can't. I know they're decent, just being like knowing that they've been around for a while. So in Altseason, they will perform. So I'll give you that, but I'm not gonna show it specifically. Baking down merch, we actually have plans for that, concrete plans. So yeah. Thanks for looking at my comment. No problem. Yeah, that's what we do. Okay, let's look at bit more Discord messages. Let's see here. Let me share screen. Go into Discord. Okay. And then we will call it a day. Closing chats soon. Yeah, closing chats soon. Can you speak about Enzyme Fund? Yeah, so the Enzyme Fund will probably do one managed by me, one managed by Wonka, if there's enough demand. But the Enzyme Fund doesn't allow you to really like invest in everything that's out there. It's very limited to the choices you have, only top coins. So my strategy for that is going to be like a very low risk portfolio, purely basing on not purely, but mostly basing on Bitcoin dominance. So when we are in the alt season, okay, it's 3 main strategies there, right? If everything is going down, right, we will probably be stablecoin heavy. If it's Bitcoin dominance going up, we will be heavily in Bitcoins. If Bitcoin dominance going down, we will be heavily altcoins. And also, the Enzyme Finance only gives us a wide list of top coins. So we are naturally pretty protected for downside, right? As long as we get the Bitcoin dominance part right. Yeah, and then individually, there might be, we can do maybe like DOT KSM ecosystem or DeFi ecosystem. I'm not sure if there's a Solana possibility there, but like it's big ecosystem conviction plays as well as Bitcoin dominance plays. That's what the Enzyme Finance will be mostly the strategy there. And yeah, people that are so far we think it'll be platinum tier. So people that are in platinum tier will be whitelisted, so you can like contribute. Yeah, and then I think Wonka might do one for like long and short Bitcoin. That's also you are able to do that with Enzyme Finance. But yeah, I do think DOT ecosystem you can do, because there is a synthetic DOT that's supported on Enzyme, but don't quote me on that. Look on Enzyme specifically. Yeah, you cannot do low caps. You cannot do low caps. You can't just do like, and Viperr and Luke don't give you, they don't themselves do 20x in a week. If anyone were able to do that, like we'd be billionaires. But that comes from the chats. So you don't even need to be plat tier. If you're in purple tier, like, yeah, if you are involved enough, we are very open in what we share and the kind of place we take on. So yeah. And also, like, when you have like those kind of 20x in a week type of place, you cannot put all your money in as a fund, because like that's not a fund. That's stupid. Like when you have 20x type of plays, myself, Viperr, and Luke, the actual degens, we put in like 1 ETH. Like, because the kind of 20x, weak type of plays, the potential downside is 0. So you can't put everything in. You risk 1 ETH if of it going to 0 or going to like 10 ETH. That's a way to play it. You can't put a whole fund in there. And then that's just stupid. So yeah. And also the liquidity for those kind of super low cap plays is too low for any fund to move in. Cool. So that's it for today, I think. We are going to be locking the chats today, and we are enabling purchasing of purple, gold, and platinum tiers on a monthly basis through the TipCC bot also today. Once we end this call, we will like implement those features. It's only purple. Okay, you can only purchase purple, but we're looking to make like everything purchasable. I will be making a tutorial video to show you guys how you can deposit like not only USDT, USDC, but also BUSD on Binance Smart Chain, so that it's very cheap for fees. So this will really like take away a lot of the barrier, right? So like if you are on like crypto.com or like Binance or whatever, Coinbase, I don't think Coinbase has BUSD, but Trust Wallet does, right? So you can send in like $40 BUSD, you can send in like $41, and it would more than enough cover all the gas fees. And $40 is going to be the price per month. So yeah, we don't want to lock people out. So tutorial for that will come out, and look out for that. We have a post coming guide. We'll answer questions as well. Yeah. So the team, myself, and everyone will be here to answer any questions. So look out for that. And then I have plans to deploy the Bacon liquidity pool farm to BSC, as well as the Bacon single stake farm. That one won't have as much staking rewards, as high staking rewards, just because it's only Bacon, so there's not as much benefit as the liquidity pool. But those will be live quite soon, and looking to also support that on BSC. The BSC side, the main thing is Collabland doesn't support ERC-1155 NFTs. So that's one thing that we cannot implement right away into Collabland bot. So if you're on BSC side, best way right now is to just deposit BUSD. Even if you want to farm, like just because the farm like for purple tier, that's like $500, right, for farm. Just divide that by year and just like use BUSD first. But we will have all the guides for that, as well as tutorials come out very soon. Aside from that, that's it for today's call. It's an hour 20 minutes already, so it's a bit long. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I see. How long does your KSM get locked in the crowd loans? I can't give you I don't think it's standard for all crowd loans, but for individual crowd loans, I don't know the range. You should ask Mahi in the Poker Chat, Iliad. I don't have a number off the top of my head. Cool. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Inside Reports call. That's it. See you guys tomorrow, and then probably